Hello, this is Murry and Tiffany Guy, and in this episode of Real Relationships, we're going to talk about the importance of God and family. Just a brief history of where we come from. We both come from two different families. Tiffany grew up in Georgia, and I grew up in Alabama, East Alabama. And but one thing we have in common is our family's love for the Lord, and we were both raised in a Christian family. Christian families, not to say that everything's perfect. If everybody knows my dad, knows that he's a mess, but he loves the Lord extremely so. And my wife's family is probably in a similar situation. Her dad's a mess, but he loves the Lord like nobody else. And we have wonderful mothers. But in with that, that does not mean by default that everything's going to be, and since we've gotten married and we have our kids, does that mean that everything naturally flows from how we grew up to our family? No, we have to make decisions ourselves to have the importance of God in our family with our three kids. And Tiffany, go ahead, and we have a little inside joke while we're reading the scripture. But if you can read Deuteronomy 6, 7 through 9, if you don't mind.
Deuteronomy 6, 7 through 9. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and thou shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and thou shalt be as frontlets between thine eyes, and thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates.
Thank you, Beck. That scripture was talking about what the parents in Israel should do with their kids. That there was very regimented before Christ came and put his blood in the New Testament. But the whole purpose of it and this is the main thing that we want to talk about, is that it is very important for you to take time to talk to your kids about the importance of God and to have a family devotion. I will say that, do you want to talk about how we do things?
Sure. Well, I get an opportunity to kind of invest and just read scriptures and kind of talk about God with my children a lot because I homeschool my oldest too. And so we're kind of always talking about, things of God, and I try to get little snippets in there. And so that's always a great thing. And we usually take a walk. Well, not right now because the weather's not good. But
it rains every day right now.
Really.
This is in February and it's raining every day.
But during the better months of the year, we take walks. My son, who has autism, our son, he loves stroller rides. So we push him and we talk, and we'll just talk about little things that come up, and we'll find scriptures and just pray while we're walking. We actually literally do that while we're walking. And then sometimes we'll do family devotions at night, and we'll watch a little TV, and then Murray will sometimes stop the movie or before we even start the movie, and he'll say, okay, this is going to show such and such, and let's talk about the character of that person, or why that happened, and how can that relate to God and what he's trying to say, what he can teach us through this. And so we just take little moments. It's nothing big and major.
Yeah. Can I say something
sure.
along with that? I do think that if you try to convert it to how you see a preacher doing it on Sunday, it can be almost overwhelming. So I do think it's like Tiffany was referencing. It does need to be something small and bite-sized. There's no need, unless God leads you to, there's not a necessity, let me say it that way, to have an hour-long devotion with your kids. I think a lot of times it can be practical, how Jesus did in parables. Not that you have to make up a story, but I think it's something that can apply to your daily life, what Tiffany is referencing, how we do. And it doesn't necessarily you don't have to go to a church parking lot or go inside the church to have a devotion with your family. It can be like Tiffany was saying, we do for a walk, or when you're getting ready for bed, or on the way to a family function or an athletic function, or coming from one, just taking that opportunity in everyday life. If you would think about how Jesus was in his devotions with his disciples, they weren't all in a synagogue or in a church. They may have been in, at the, well of the lady with Canaan, or in a field, or on a boat. So it is important to do that. Now, are we perfect, babe? Are we perfect?
No, and there's days that we just don't get to it.
Yeah, our busy schedules.
Super busy, and you have kids and you have work and you just have all kinds of things. There'll be times when other things creep in and you just don't make it happen. But it's important not to get frustrated with yourself and beat yourself up. Oh, I didn't do it this day, and I didn't get that box checked off. But Murray has a good point about that.
There was a guy that we liked very much. He had said something that I thought was very good.
Right.
Is that it's more important to keep starting. So yes, we're not the most consistent with our devotions, but we try not to get down about it if we skip a day or two of our family devotions and say, tonight we're going to start again. And so, and keep starting can apply in many different things. Though a righteous man falls, but he gets up. And so there should be no condemnation of thinking, well, I haven't had my devotion by myself, or with my wife, or with my kids. So then I just might as well get up, forget about it, or give up. No, but we should just keep starting again. Take the opportunity to do it. If you catch yourself, for me, watching sports on TV, say, well, maybe I can just pause this and have a family devotion. Or if you find yourself on social media, on the phone, you say, well, maybe I could spend that time, having devotion with myself, or with my spouse, or with my family. So the most important is, in our schedules, and our busy schedules, or if we're tired, keep starting your devotions with your children, especially, because then we're hoping, just like it was with us, even though it was not perfect, that they'll be able to do the same thing. And I feel like I do want to stress is keep it short. That way it's doable for you. It's doable for us. I need it to be short. I don't need to have 30 points in a poem. You don't have to read 10 different scriptures in your devotion. Talk about something, what Jesus meant to you, or how this is good or bad, or in this situation in the news, and apply it to how God would see it and how God looks at it. You don't even have to, it's good to open the Bible, and it's good to quote scripture during that devotion, but ask him how Jesus would do this, and what do you think God thinks about this? And just to end it all is just have a quick prayer. Our schedule is we usually have something very quick, and then the kids will go around and pray. But you may want to pray that time, and the kids pray next time, or your spouse may want to pray that time. But the main thing is just keep starting, keep it up, do it. Anytime you can have time with your family, when it's you, they'll know it to be real, and something beyond Sunday morning or Wednesday night, or maybe even sitting around watching this. There's something that y'all have in your lives that y'all just do as a family.
Right, and I think your kids will remember that connection time. They'll remember that later on. It doesn't have to be perfect or long, but they'll remember the times that you sat around and talked with them and connected with their heart and connected with God's heart.
Keep starting.